belongingbeginswithus.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
From the Civic Media Radio Network, moving Wisconsin forward one joke at a time. This is As Goes Wisconsin with Kristen Bry.
Where it's going, no one knows. Hello, Wisconsin!
Now, filling in for the new mom, here's Jane Matinaire.
Good morning and welcome to As Goes Wisconsin. Greg Bach is on the board.
Hello.
And we are still, Greg Bach, on
Baby Watch.
We are still on Baby Watch. No word, except that LJ apparently is a little reluctant to leave her very comfy current home.
I mean, it's rent-free.
Well, it's rent-free. I'm sure it's warm and
Food
and all the things you need. So nothing to report right now. Again, as soon as we know something, we will absolutely share it with you. And Dr. Kristen Lyerly is going to be here at 11 o'clock for our public service announcement. And one of the things that we're going to talk about is what your body is going through when you are in this stage of pregnancy and what's happening. And also, I want to know what friends and family can do for a new mom that is going to be the most useful, least intrusive thing, right?
What can I do to help? Don't yell at me.
Yeah, everybody wants to help, but we want to make sure that it's the right kind of help. So, also, coming up at 10:50, you have an opportunity to win a $100 gift card that's courtesy of Auto Glass Now. This is $100 you can spend any way you want to. You don't have to spend it with them. They're just doing this because they're pretty wonderful.
That's pretty wonderful. And I got to say, everyone who's called in and given us what they want to do with it has been heartfelt and beautiful.
Yeah.
No one's like, I'm getting an extra tall Bloody Mary this weekend. It's been very kind, very generous individuals calling. So thank you very much.
Absolutely. So coming up at 10:50, start thinking about it now. If you had this $100 from Auto Glass Now, what would you do with it? And we're going to take 3 callers. When you hear the sound of the breaking glass is when you want to call at 844-967-2789. We will take the first 3 callers to get through, ask you what you're going to do with the money, and then, as we know, Greg is a judge. She's the yum judge.
I'm the yum judge.
So we will be judging who is going to pick up that cash. And then at 11 o'clock, again, of course, public service announcement with Dr. Kristen Lyerly. If you have questions for her, you can always text them in. And 11:33, J.R. Radcliffe is a sports reporter with Milwaukee Journal Sentinel. There's just a few things.
Oh, there's some things to talk about today.
Yeah, there's just a couple of things going on, so stick around with that. Coming up at 11:30. Right now, though, Greg, I wanted to start with Robin Boss says what?
Oh, the Popcorn King is back again. He's saying dumb things, and I want to go blip.
So was it yesterday in the Milwaukee Journal Sentinel? They had a piece on who is Robin Boss.
Yeah.
And it basically gave some of his background, where he went to school and how long he's been in the legislature and what his businesses are and things like that. That wasn't a hit piece by any stretch of the imagination.
No.
It was just pretty much this is who he is and this is what he does and his businesses, et cetera, et cetera. Today, in the Milwaukee Journal Sentinel, there's an opinion piece by said Robin Wallace, the same man, with the headline that says Tony Evers and Democrats said they wanted Iowa-style redistricting. Then they rejected it. If Governor Tony Evers is truly interested in resolving this issue, why won't he take yes for an answer?
You know, I really have to hand it to the Popcorn King, because when they made it such a simple, like, we're going to do the Iowa style of redistricting. There you go. And they walked away. And of course, every Democratic leader, every Democratic pundit, anybody who has a big, like a Democratic, as in the party, opinion was like, yeah, right. This is a trap. We don't trust you, and we have every reason not to trust you. So after that happened, they're all like, well, you said you wanted fair maps, and we're giving you. No, you are not. Because every story that ran about this map proposal always said the same thing. Almost, nearly, pretty much. Not exactly. because they left that loophole, and they're saying if it doesn't come to a consensus,
Right.
they get to do whatever they want.
Like they do right now. Like they're doing right now.
Yeah.
So this is not, as you said, Greg Bach, the Iowa redistricting plan.
It's similar. Similar. There's another word they used.
Yes, similar, but it is not the same thing because, again, ultimately, it puts the power back in the hands of the lawmakers who then can draw up any maps that they want and pass them, and we're still stuck in this process.
Yep.
So in today's op-ed piece in the Journal Sentinel, Mr. Voss says, I recently proposed we establish an independent, nonpartisan redistricting commission to remove politics from the process, restore confidence in our state's electoral system, and help our state move on from the bitter partisan battles of the last 2 years. Our neighboring state, Iowa, has employed a nonpartisan independent redistricting commission for many years and have had great success. Countless Democrats, even our governor, have previously supported such a model. If Evers is truly interested in resolving this, why won't he take yes for an answer? And why did all Assembly Democrats but one vote no on the very proposal they authored, even after we made changes and adopted 7 amendments to address their newfound concerns? Now, this really makes me laugh. I sincerely doubt this is a simple change of heart. More likely, it appears the financial and political calculus has changed. Deep-pocketed donors have recently committed millions of dollars to advocating for judicial-drawn districts. I propose the Evers plan to adopt the Iowa model, an independent, nonpartisan redistricting commission to be created by the legislative and executive branches. In 2019, Governor Evers said people should get to choose their elected officials. Now he and his allies want state Supreme Court justices to draw our maps. We are simply calling on the governor to stick to his word. The alternative, kicking the can down the road, is continued instability is untenable. Let's embrace bipartisanship, Greg Bach, and cooperation so we can get back to the business of governing. From addressing the cost of living to ensuring our kids have a quality education and building a strong economy for all Wisconsin.
I'd like to believe that he actually put the name Greg Bach in there, like he was talking to me. I talk to him a lot on Twitter. I mean, if you follow me on Twitter, folks, I am, or X or whatever, I am Greg Bach. You can see the one-sided conversation I've been having with Robin Voss for years now. And that's exactly what I'm talking about. He always presents himself as this mild-mannered,
reasonable,
person of the man of the people.
Mm-hmm.
I'm here to help. I'm the guy who's going to get Wisconsin going again. And he has never done anything but show that he is in the interest of himself, which is a businessman, a property owner,
yes,
and other businesses with tax cuts, and dive bombing what was a much better Brewers deal from Governor Evers, which was much more fiscally responsible. It gained interest in the savings, said no, and then he proposes a deal that is nearly 3 times, and then just puts Milwaukee and the people on the hook, and walks away saying, well, we can't let them leave. I love baseball. And that's the other thing that really makes me mad about him is that I would respect him if he was a savvy, silver-tongued politician who could walk in the room going, hey guys, how about that Christian Yelich really good home run the other night? Instead, he walks in the room going, bleep, blorp, baseball, bat, hit, ball. I love sports, people. America, Wisconsin. I mean, he's been in office for 20 years.
2004.
And that's not even counting being elected as a county supervisor.
Right. Yeah. He's been on the public dime for a long time. It's a good gig if you can get it.
A moocher.
844-967-2789. Love to know what you think about this op-ed piece in today's Milwaukee Journal Sentinel from Robin Voss. And just reading some of the comments on JS Online, this is the most disingenuous, morally bankrupt argument I've read in a long time. And that's saying something because I follow state politics closely. You were against this before you were for it because all you care about is power, not democracy. What you and your GOP cronies are proposing here isn't even the actual Iowa-style redistricting approach. Sorry, the Supreme Court's ours now. We took it back fair and square. Time for real, honest, and fair election maps.
I mean, that's what it comes down to as well. It's like, this is just sore loserdom. This is sore loserdom.
Oh, absolutely.
And there have been, I mean, I think Matt Gaetz said that if we had, oh God, Matt Gaetz said something to the effect of, and I apologize for not remembering the exact quote, but things of like fair maps, Republicans admit they don't win. Election, equality in our elections, ability for ballots to be like registration, things like that, they lose elections. Electoral college goes away, they lose elections.
Oh, yeah.
And they all know it because they've all said it in interviews. So this is just another example of absolute sore loserdom coming from the man who holds the heavy crown of popcorn on his head.
He does. It is a heavy, and the orb is even heavier.
Yeah.
I've heard. Another comment, since the GOP-controlled legislature can still push their own maps to the end of the day, this is not the Iowa-style fair map drawing. This is what they said about this. Quote, Iowa State Auditor Rob Sims said, this isn't the Iowa model. It's also just impossible to expect Iowa-style fair results when you still have the capacity to gerrymander at the end of the day, which is what this bill allows for. They can reject and draw their own. You can't do that in Iowa. That's why the Iowa system works. If they had pulled that out, then you do not have the Iowa system in this bill. And again, that's the whole problem.
Ba-boom.
Babu.
Ba-boom.
844-967-2789. Reactions, thoughts, feelings,
fears,
concerns. 844-967-2789. That's 844-96-PARTY. Don't forget, we've got that $100 giveaway coming up at 10:50, so stick around for that. We are coming up against a break. We will take your calls and your texts right after this. Stick around. You're listening to As Goes Wisconsin. We are on the Civic Media Radio Network.
Now, filling
I'm a bad liar. Bad liar. Now you know. Now you know.
Uh-oh, did a rock hit your windshield from that semi? Don't worry, Autoglass Now offers fast, reliable, and convenient service. For a limited time only, Autoglass Now is offering 50% off windshield replacement. Call your local Autoglass Now today for full details.
radio keeps your community informed, entertained, and connected. It's what we're all about at the Civic Media Network of local radio stations.
We're having fun and moving fast to preserve hometown radio across Wisconsin. This includes a commitment to news. Now we want to invite you to join Civic Media's exclusive Facebook group, Wisconsin Breaking News. It's a place to share your community's news and chat with others from across the state about it.
Join the Facebook group Wisconsin Breaking News today. It's the perfect companion to your local Civic Media radio station. Up North News Radio with Pat Kreitlow.
On Friday, it was Sam's first day flying solo because Aaron said he was going bear hunting. Aaron's not here this morning. So it's either Aaron doesn't need to be here or Aaron's been eaten by a bear.
Gosh, I'd sure hope that Aaron hasn't been eaten by a bear.
Well, he's not there. Now I'm just afraid that if we ring up his phone somewhere out there, Mrs. Bear is going to elbow Mr. Bear and go, is your tummy rumbling?
Up North News Radio with Pat Kreitlow. Weekday morning 6 till 8 on your local Civic Media radio station and on the app.
Did you know your favorite shows and hosts are active on social media too? Find Civic Media on Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook and be part of the conversation happening there. And go to our website, civicmedia.us, to learn more about the Civic Media Network.
Here's your updated forecast on the Shaw. Chance for isolated rain showers this afternoon, otherwise overcast. High of 68, winds out of the northeast, 8 to 15 miles an hour. Partly cloudy skies tonight, lows around 53. Daytime highs approaching 71. Tomorrow, mainly cloudy skies expected. Dry and warmer Saturday and Sunday with highs in the upper 70s. For Civic Media, I'm meteorologist Eric Height. Currently, it's 61 degrees.
Something about you says you wanna, but could I make it work your way?
Welcome back to As Goes Wisconsin. Jane Natner in for Kristen Bry. Greg Bach is on the board, and we are kicking around an op-ed that Robin Voss has this morning in today's Milwaukee Journal Sentinel, where he basically says, you wanted, you want fair maps. We gave you this great deal. What's the problem?
Yeah.
Why don't you want them anymore?
I think it's also important to remember that he almost got primaried last time. He won by very few votes in that. And what's weird is that I'm glad the other guy didn't win, because that guy Steen was style bonkers.
844-967-2789, 844-96-PARTY. You can call and or text. We're going to go to the phone lines. Charles in Green Bay. Good morning, Charles. Thanks for joining us.
Hey, Jane. How you doing today?
I am well, thank you. What do you think about Mr. Voss's op-ed?
Okay, first of all, you got to think about the whole puzzle. You can't look at just pieces of the puzzle to make a puzzle. I was a teacher for many years, and I always thought outside the box. Well, Robin Voss is tearing up the box so that he can build a box. There is not, if you're going to do it via the Iowa way, then you do it via the Iowa way, not the Robin Voss way, which means you take pieces out. That's not the Iowa way. Robin Voss is afraid to do it the Iowa way because it's not going to go his way.
For sure.
They're going to be redrawn, and they're going to be redrawn correctly. He is a coward when it comes to truth and justice. The fact of the matter is, if you're going to do it the Iowa way, you have to do it 100% the Iowa way, not this 75% or whatever the hell it comes down to. Pardon my language.
That's right, Charles.
You understand what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah, for sure. And it's also, it's lying by omission. You know what I mean?
That's right.
It's leaving out this, and it's a really important part of this puzzle that he conveniently didn't mention in his op-ed, that in their model, it ultimately can go back to the legislature twice, and then they can pass whatever they want. So it's really disingenuous, right?
Which is the Robin Voss way.
Lying to the public.
Yeah. And lying by omission.
Exactly.
Thank you so much, Charles. Have a wonderful day. Really appreciate your calling. A texter from the 608 says if Republican voters had pride, they would be insulted with how stupid Robin Voss thinks they are. He's losing, and we are not letting him off the hook.
And text from the 414 boiled it down even harder to Robin Voss is a corrupt, self-serving jerk.
That was subtle.
And the thing to ask the question here is, I don't want to say I feel sympathy for Robin Voss, because I don't feel anything for a man who feels nothing. But he is in a very tenuous situation because, like I said, he almost got primaried by a bunch of people who are basically calling him a rhino. You've got the people on the left who do not trust him whatsoever.
At all, right.
So what is he trying to create? What is his end goal here? Because you think of it like as some sort of evil plan, but like, I think okay, go with me here. Is he just trying to say, would you guys just please like me? Like, my friends over here don't like me. Does anybody like me? Can someone please like me?
See, I don't think it's about being liked at all. His goal is keeping his cushy job that he's had for a long, long time and the power that he wields. Life is good. Why would I want to mess this up?
But you need to have friends to do it. And right now, he probably has less than he did 5 years ago.
Yeah, but I don't. In this instance, do you really have to be friends?
Well, when
you just need enough
leverage.
Yeah, I mean, when I say friends, I use it in the terms being used in politician speak. Like,
yeah,
where his okay, but I'll say it better. Where are his allies?
Good question, because it doesn't appear to be Devin LeMahieu, although I am not that well versed on that. We'll leave that for another time.
Yeah.
844-967-2789. We have Dave from Mequon is on the line. Dave, we only got about 2 minutes left. Go ahead.
Yeah, good morning. I don't think you want to use Iowa as representation, to be honest with you. The reason being, so I've had family in Iowa for a long, long time. Iowa is about as red as it can be right now. If you look at the makeup of the House legislature in Iowa, you only have 38 Democrats in the entire state versus 64 Republicans. They don't control anything in the state of Iowa. Nothing.
Well, it's not so David, it's not so much about who controls the power in Iowa, it's how they design their maps and the methods.
Okay.
And even if we do get redrawn maps in Wisconsin, Dave, there's no guarantee that the Democrats are going to sweep everything and achieve, major majorities. That's not. I think people that are just tired of cheating. I think people are sick of their voices not being heard because their lawmakers are so insulated. They do not have to respond to the needs of their constituents or the wants of their constituents. And I think Wisconsinites are tired of that.
Well, I'll put it to you this way. So I also have family in Illinois, and I look at what the Democratic Party has done to the Republican Party in the Chicago area. And when they lost the congressional seats, they purposely designed it so where the Democrats would still have their representation, equal amount. And the same thing was going on in New York, but that got thrown out because in New York they had a big controversy. So it depends on which party controls which state. It goes both sides.
Well, for sure, Dave. And I don't know if you've heard this before, but I mean we have talked about the gerrymander in Illinois, and none of us agree with that either. I don't want to see that either. I don't think that's right. I don't want either side to cheat like that. Let's make it fair.
That's why
we're running out of time, Dave. We're running out of time. Thank you so very much. You can check in anytime, 844-967-2789, 844-96-PARTY. We're coming up against the bottom of the hour news. When we come back, it's going to be the good, the bad, the chocolate milk. Keep it right here. This is As Goes Wisconsin.
One FM, WAUK.
CBS News special report. Lawmakers in the House of Representatives have just begun making their case for an impeachment inquiry into President Biden as they try to link him to his son Hunter's international business dealings. Oversight Committee Chairman James Comer.
For years, President Biden has lied to the American people about his knowledge of and participation in his family's corrupt business schemes.
Missouri Republican Jason Smith.
Whether it was lunches, phone calls, White House meetings, or official foreign trips, Hunter Biden cashed in by arranging access to Joe Biden, the family brand.
Ranking Democrat Jamie Raskin.
The majority sits completely empty-handed with no evidence of any presidential wrongdoing, no smoking gun, no smoke.
4 outside experts will testify, 3 of whom were invited by Republicans. CBS News special report. I'm Deborah Rodriguez.
Civic Media radio stations, providing your news, conversations, and fun you won't find anywhere else.
With news on WAUK The Shaw, I'm Stuart J. Waddles. Lake Country Fire and Rescue is facing a staffing crisis and can't proceed with their plan to add more staff until the city of Delafield pays an outstanding amount of $300,000. That was part of the discussions this week during a meeting. Fox 6 reports the disagreement over funding among the 7 communities sharing fire protection services has created tensions, with some arguing that each community should contribute their fair share to support the staffing plan. The 2024 Waukesha County budget has been unveiled by County Executive Paul Farrow.
The budget totals over $391 million. If approved, it would lead to a 9.1% reduction in the tax rate, marking the lowest in 30 years and the lowest among Wisconsin counties. Farrow emphasized the budget's focus on law enforcement funding. Pete Schwabe, Civic Media News.
With news on WAUK The Shaw, I'm Stuart J. Waddles.
The Devil's Advocates Radio Show.
Do you support the legalization, regulation, and taxation of legal cannabis in the state of Wisconsin? You said yes, Melissa. That was like 12 years ago. What do you think the hang-up is?
It's the Republicans. They're suffering from reefer madness. They're out-of-touch legislators in the Capitol building who don't want to give a win to Governor Evers and Democrats.
The Devil's Advocates Radio Show. Weekday afternoons from 4 until 6 on your local Civic Media radio station and on the app. Under the helmet with the gravedigger, Gilbert Brown.
Jordan Love was 15 for 27 for 245 yards and 3 TDs against a JV team.
Oh, my God. I mean, I don't like Chicago, but I ain't going to call them a JV team. They suck, but it's a slap in his face. I'm laughing at y'all, Bear fans. I know,
Under the Helmet with the Gravedigger with Gilbert Brown and Earl Ingram. Monday mornings at 8 on your local Civic Media radio station and on the app.
The Green Bay Packers call Lambeau Field home, but did you know the stadium has a history all its own? It started with where to build it. Residents on both sides of the city wanted it. Officials argued there had to be room for growth. Eventually, farmland was purchased, but in Ashwaubenon. The bargaining continued, and in 1956, the land was annexed to Green Bay. Green Bay City Stadium became a reality the following year and was renamed in honor of team co-founder and coach Curly Lambeau in 1965. For Civic Media, I'm Terry Ball. You are never far away from your favorite radio station. We're always streaming on TuneIn and the Civic Media app. And if you missed your favorite show or game, listen to a podcast of it anytime on the app or our website, civicmedia.us.
Welcome back to Asco's Wisconsin. Jane Matt Derrigan, Fort Kristen, Brian, Greg Buck is on the board. You are always welcome to join us. Call, text 844-967-2789. No word from Mama to be yet. No movement, no action. Greg, we remain on
Baby watch.
Thank you.
Sometimes you got to press the right button.
That helps. Yes, we are on Baby Watch. So, again, once we know anything, we will pass it along. I do want to remind you, coming up at 10:50, we will be taking the first 3 callers, and this is all courtesy of the fine, generous people at Autoglass Now. A $100 gift card is up for grabs. All you have to do is tell us what you would do with that $100, and then we're going to pick somebody.
That's
pretty easy.
That's democracy.
So what you want to do is you want to listen for the sound of broken glass or breaking glass, which I have a feeling might come towards the end of this segment.
Whoa. Oh, making it so easy.
Right? So easy for you. So stick around for that. I did want to go back just for a couple of texts. Greg, we were talking about today's op-ed in the Milwaukee Journal Sentinel by Robin Voss, Assembly Speaker of Popcorn King. And he's like, here's your, we offered you fair maps. Now you don't want them. What's up with that? And basically it's because this is not the Iowa model. Ultimately, the legislature retains the power and can draw whatever maps they want, which is what they've done for the last decade. So that doesn't change anything. Josh Egan checking in on the live stream. I would love a fair fight. Nothing more, nothing less. And I think that's what a lot of people want. I think a lot of Wisconsinites don't like cheaters. And we don't like people who don't play fair. And I think we would just like to see a more level playing field to even things out. Not that Democrats are going to sweep everything and just take over the government, because we are a 50-50 state.
Yeah.
And also, our friend Joe McClear checking in. Are you guys going to talk about tonight's game? Because if you need someone to pester you about how the Lions are going to pound the Packers into the dirt, just let me know.
We're on Joe McClear watch too.
J.R. Radcliffe from the Journal Sentinel is going to be joining us at 11:30, so we will certainly be talking about the Packers game tonight. We're going to talk about the big Bucks trade that happened yesterday. We'll get some Brewers in there as well, so stay close for J.R. Radcliffe will be joining us at 11:30. Right now, though, we're going to do the good, the bad, and the chocolate milk.
Oh, boy.
And, Greg, we're going to start out with the good.
Yeah.
Last night was the second Republican presidential debate.
And how was it for you?
It was great because I didn't watch it.
Me either.
That was good.
Oh, it felt so.
It felt really
so good.
It felt so really good.
It's like it washes over you.
It does.
Just feels so nice.
No, I actually watched the latest episode of Only Murders in the Building. on Hulu, which is so good.
What a pleasure.
Yeah, so good.
We'll be talking more about that next week.
Next week,
Oh.
the season finale is coming up. So what were you watching last night?
I was watching stand-up comedy. I was at the Laughing Tap, which we'll talk about more later on in the show.
Yeah.
But we have our weekly open mic on Wednesdays, which, by the way, whether you're a comic or a spectator, and I'm going to tell you, last night there was so many spectators. It was like 2-to-1 spectators.
Wow.
People were coming in watching. It was great. It was a packed house
Cool.
for an open mic, and it was by far the best open mic we've ever had. The laughter, fun, everyone was on point. Drinks were flowing. I was laughing. I was high-fiving.
Wow.
I mean, it was peak fun.
All right, peak fun. Well, that sounds like a better use of your time
Yeah.
than watching last night's GOP presidential debate. Charlie Sykes in the Bulwark this morning. It just makes me laugh. Do we have to pretend that last night's kids' table debate mattered? Are we really going to do this again? The debate itself was a muddled mess, a non-event, distinguished only by its embarrassing lack of substance and utter pointlessness. Other than that, it was great.
Yeah, I mean, Vivek Ramaswamy definitely going for the T-Birds look.
With his hair.
Yeah, that he definitely, bringing the Danny Zuko vibe.
Oh, for sure. And Nikki Haley took a shot at him, telling Vivek Ramaswamy at one point, honestly, every time I hear you, I feel a little bit dumber. And the only other thing, because I did watch some recaps this morning, because we knew we were going to talk about this.
Yeah.
The only thing that really stood out for me was former New Jersey Governor Chris Christie was up on the stage. And he had this to say to Donald Trump.
And Donald Trump should be here to answer for that, but he's not. And I want to look at that camera right now and tell you, Donald, I know you're watching. You can't help yourself. I know you're watching, okay? And you're not here tonight, not because of polls and not because of your indictments. You're not here tonight because you're afraid of being on the stage and defending your record. You're ducking these things. And let me tell you what's going to happen. You keep doing that, no one up here is going to call you Donald Trump anymore. We're going to call you Donald Duck.
Oh, what a burn.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. So it's 2023. In the 8 years we had to put up with Donald Trump and the numerous fails from various candidates, whether you're Jeb Bush's or your Marco Rubio's or Ted Cruz's, to try to
take him down.
That was the best one because remember, I mean, say what you will about Chris Christie. The man comes with confidence, that New Jersey swagger.
Absolutely.
And he will look in that and he doesn't care. But you worked for him for a long time. You defended him and whatever, but fine.
Yeah. It was a lighthearted moment.
Yeah, it was.
Whether or not that's going to help Chris Christie, I very highly doubt.
No, but I will say this. I'd if a Republican had to take office and you're like, no, if someone said a Republican will be the president next time, of all of them, I would rather be Chris Christie because I think of all of them, he is the one who can walk in the White House, say, let's just talk. I do. That might be naive, but I feel like, I don't know.
He did manage to get some things done.
Yeah. So
when he was governor,
if you have problems with that, please at me at Jay Weber.
No, don't do that. Nicholas Grossman also writing in this morning's Bulwark. No one last night tried to make a "what type of party do we want to be" case against corruption and authoritarianism. It was surreal how the debate moderators avoided the profound historical question of nominating a man who will be on trial for federal felonies during the campaign. And it was ridiculous that no candidate mentioned that the man they are trailing in the polls makes anti-democracy assertions on a regular basis. No one also mentioned he thinks Donald Trump said last week that General Milley should be executed for treason.
Well, and that's, the reason why they don't bring it up is because then they have to admit that they're complicit in it. Their party, not just the man who's going to be on trial, but their party is complicit in these problems. And they have no capability of doing that because they don't have the game to say it out loud, then have a plan to go forward and say, this is how we fix it.
Yeah, there's very little substance about policies.
No, absolutely not. They don't have to. Right now, this is, like he said, this is the kids' table. They're slap fighting right now.
Yeah.
So, all right. But the good was great because we didn't watch.
We didn't watch. And I guess that is one plus in this age of technology being everywhere and having access to everything. Back in the olden days, Greg Buck, in my early days in radio, we actually had to watch every single thing in order to talk about it, or you waited until the next day when the paper got printed.
Which edition? The morning or the afternoon or the evening final?
Exactly. So it's kind of nice again that we don't all have to subject ourselves to these things. The good, the bad, and the ugly continues on As Goes Wisconsin. Now we're going to go to the bad. This is sad.
Yeah. Michael Gambon.
Yeah.
R.I.P.
Yeah, Michael Gambon, British actor. He was Sir Michael Gambon.
Yes, he was. My apologies. Sir Michael Gambon.
Yep. Has died at the age of 82. He was the second Dumbledore.
Correct. He took over in Harry Potter and
it was the third one, wasn't it?
Yes, and I'm not remember the name of it right now. Not the Goblet of Fire. That's the fourth one. The Prisoner of Azkaban. And he brought an energy to that. Now, Richard Harris
was wonderful.
And he also had his own energy, which was a very astute, you respected him as soon as he walked in the room.
Yes.
But Michael Gambon brought fun and agility to that role, and he had energy and he moved about the room, and it was great to watch both of them for what they did. But Michael Gambon was an amazing actor in countless films and TV shows. And I was talking to a friend, and even though right now, and rightly so, he's being hailed as Dumbledore.
Sure.
He was also in a movie back in the 90s called Toys with Robin Williams, Joan Cusack, himself, LL Cool J, about an eccentric toy maker who dies and leaves his company to his children, being Robin Williams and Joan Cusack. And Michael Gambon plays Robin Williams' brother. LL Cool J plays the nephew, and has original music from Tori Amos. It is so weird, but it's so beautiful, and the performances are amazing.
I remember the name of that movie.
Yeah.
I know I've never seen it.
You should, honestly, I think you would really enjoy it. It's called Toys.
Okay.
Starring Robin Williams. You can't miss it. The cover has a picture of Robin Williams' face.
I can see it in my head.
Yeah,
for sure.
But that's where I got to know Michael Gambon for the first time, and it's an amazing film.
Oh, well, high praise from Greg Buck.
High praise indeed.
Worth checking out. You can watch that the next time you don't want to watch a political debate. There's an option for you. Yeah, so Sir Michael Gambon has died at the age of 82. The Irish-English star died on Thursday following a bout of pneumonia. He died peacefully in the hospital with his wife and his son by his side. So, yeah.
We send love. Happy thoughts to his family.
And gratitude for all his wonderful performances. And you're right, I think he brought a twinkle to Dumbledore, a lightness, a little
Cheshire grin.
Yeah.
I know what you're doing. I like it. I'll be the leader. I'll be the authority, but keep doing what you're doing.
I'm still fun.
Yeah.
I'm still fun. All right, and finally, it's the good, the bad, and Greg Bach brought this up this morning. Very, very passionate about
the chocolate milk.
The good, the bad, and the chocolate milk. What does that mean?
So, Wisconsin Congressman Tom Tiffany is made it his battle cry to save chocolate milk for all the little kids all across the land.
Is chocolate milk under threat?
So the USDA has proposed a possible ban of flavored milks, that'd be chocolate and strawberry milk, for elementary and middle school, but focusing a lot more on elementary school just because of the amount of sugar that's in it,
Right.
and trying to keep those sugar levels low. lower for children because that's not the healthiest thing in the world. And Tom Tiffany said,
One of our representatives
here in the state of Wisconsin, I believe the 7th district, said no to gun control, no to pay equality, no to basic equity and living your life and your truth. He said, this is my hill to die upon. I shall take up the flag and plant it here, and I shall say chocolate milk for one, chocolate milk for all, and you can have it when you pry it from my icy cold hand.
Nicely done.
Thank you very much. I mean, he is literally, he is not only taking up time in the Congress, but he's also doing interviews and tweeting all over the place about this because he's made it such an important problem to fix, when really it's just the USDA saying, hey, kids, maybe not so much with the sugary stuff.
Granted, and we had chocolate milk in school, and I understand the reason obesity is a huge problem in this country, especially among our kids. But I don't know that they should ban it.
I also don't think that it needs to be this big of a problem. So,
well, I think considering all the other things that party likes to scream about, it seems pretty low on the priority list, or at least it should be pretty low on the priority list, considering some of the other challenges that the country is facing and Wisconsinites are facing.
Agreed. Wait, what's that sound, Jane?
Oh, what?
What's that sound? Oh my gosh. That's broken glass.
Oh, it sounds like glass breaking. This would be the time you would want to call 844-967-2789. 844-96-PARTY. Auto Glass Now has a $100 gift card for you. We'll take the first 3 callers. That's coming up next. Stay right here. This is As Goes Wisconsin on the Civic Media Radio Network.
Brought to you by the town of Brookfield's 3rd annual Brooktoberfest, September 30th from 11 until 6 at Steffen Soccer. Enjoy live music, local food vendors, best dress competition, wiener dog races, a kids zone, a classic car show, and more. Log on discoverbrookfield.com. Prost.
Dig out your lederhosen. It's time for Oktoberfest in La Crosse, September 28th through the 30th. 3 days featuring German food and beer, Stein races, barrel rolling, and the best in live music, polka bands. Celebrate the friendliest fest in the Midwest. Oktoberfest in La Crosse, Thursday through Saturday, September 28th to the 30th at the Oktoberfest grounds. Find more information at oktoberfestusa.com. For Civic Media, I'm Terry Barr.
Saturdays and Sundays at 1. Don't miss Under the Helmet with the Gravedigger, featuring legendary Gilbert Brown and Earl Ingram. Football, life, and fun.
Earl, you've been driving a Yugo. They just gave you a brand new Ferrari with turbo boost. So enjoy it, brother.
Under the Helmet with the Gravedigger. Gilbert Brown and Earl Ingram. Saturdays and Sundays at 1 on the Civic Media Network and on the Civic Media app.
Miss our conversations on air? Join the discussion on our social media channels. Find Civic Media on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You can also find social media for specific shows and hosts on our website. Go to civicmedia.us.
Here's your updated forecast on the Shaw. Highs around 68 this afternoon. Under overcast skies, northeast winds 5 to 10 miles an hour. Partly cloudy skies tonight. Lows level off around 53. High temperatures reach up to 71. Tomorrow, cloudy skies with a few peaks of sun. Dry with temps well above average. Saturday and Sunday at highs in the upper 70s. For Civic Media, I'm meteorologist Eric Height. Currently, it's 61 degrees.
Whether you're heading down Les Paul Parkway or fighting traffic on the interstates, this is The Shaw, 540 AM and 101.1 FM, WA.
back to As Goes Wisconsin. Jane Van Maren in for Kristen Bry. Greg Buck is on the board. We still have room for one more. 844-967-2789. 844-9640. You can win a $100 gift card right now, courtesy of Auto Glass Now. They offer fast, reliable, convenient service for a limited time only. Auto Glass Now offering 50% off windshield replacements. Call your local Auto Glass Now today for all of the details. And basically what we're doing is we're just taking your calls because we're nosy and we want to know what you're going to do with this $100. Because you can spend it on anything you want.
Anything you want.
I know.
I know. You could buy $100 of chocolate milk.
You could buy $100.
We did get a texter from from John from Menominee Falls saying, wouldn't it be nice if Tom Tiffany cared more about banning books than he did about banning chocolate milk?
Thank you, John. Yes, that it would be nice.
Also, he's not trying to save strawberry milk. Strawberry milk is trash.
Oh.
It's gross.
Editorial.
Yep. All right, cool.
All right. Again, if you want to jump in, we have room for 3 callers. We have 2 lined up. If you want to be the third one, 844-967-2789. Otherwise, we're going to Dave in the Shaw. Hello, Dave. How are you?
Good, Jane. How are you?
I am wonderful, thank you. So let's talk money, Dave. You have a hot $100 gift card in your hands, courtesy of Auto Glass Now. What do you do with the cash?
I try to be an advocate for our community, and today I am calling to see if you're willing to donate that to an organization called P-Flag Waukesha. They're one of a number of chapters around the state and the country that support the LGBTQ community and their families. Last month they had a picnic at Frame Park here in Waukesha, and it was a family picnic, and a church in Brookfield, funny enough, called Mercy Seat, showed up and harassed them the entire time.
Oh.
And Quinn Clark from the Journal Sentinel picked up on it. She wrote a really fantastic article about what happened and about the organization P-Flag. And I'm just really passionate about supporting people that have their voice being taken away, or that aren't comfortable in their own skin because of being harassed by people like that church in Brookfield. And I would just love to make a donation to them to support P-Flag and their organization and the work that they're doing here in Waukesha.
That's really generous, Dave.
Thank you very much, Dave.
Hang on.
Yep.
Do not go away. We got to take our other 2 calls. We're going now to Kevin in Peshtigo. Good morning, Kevin. Thank you for joining us. What are you going to do with that $100?
I have a good friend. She's actually a 2nd grade school teacher, and she's been out for some time. And her students have been sending her messages and get well cards and through this whole ordeal. And I was going to take the money and give a pizza party to her students.
Oh.
Students for a pizza party.
That's nice.
Very sweet.
That is sweet. You
could
could probably get a fair
amount
of good pizza for $100.
I'm thinking so. That's
all right, Kevin. We're going to put you on hold. Don't hang up. Don't hang up. Because we're running short on time, and I want to get to Don. Don from Waukesha is calling in. Good morning, Don. What are you going to do with that $100 from Auto Glass Now?
Well, I'd like to take my wife of 45 years to Joy Gerard's for a really nice steak dinner.
When is your anniversary?
March 24th. That was a trick question, James.
But you knew what it was, so I applaud you for that, Don.
Very slick. Good job, Don.
Very slick, Don. All right, stay on hold, Don. Greg and I are going to have to confab about this.
Confab time.
Confab time.
Confab.
It's really hard to judge, except for you.
Oh, I'm so good at it.
I know. I love that Don wants to take his wife out for dinner, for a lovely dinner. 45 years. I just don't know if a dinner is enough.
I mean, that's just the start.
That should just be. That's a remarkably long time.
That's an
achievement.
That's big.
It is. That's big. And then, of course, Kevin from Peshtigo, his friend who's the 2nd grade teacher.
and wants to give the kids a pizza party.
That's
because
very
she's
sweet.
been out.
Everyone is so generous.
I know. Nobody's like, I'm going to buy shoes.
Yeah, why can't someone just be like, you know what? I'm just going to take it. I'm going to burn it in front of the poor. No, they're all so nice and kind and generous, and I love it.
And then Dave from the Shaw wants to donate to PFLAG
Yes.
to help show support for our LGBTQ plus.
Yes, absolutely.
Our community. So, what are you feeling there? What are you feeling there, Greg?
I make a decision here, and I'm going to go. I vote for Dave from the Shaw.
Dave from the Shaw. All right.
We're going for Dave from the Shaw.
Dave from the Shaw.
Kevin and Don, thank you so much for calling. Please, we still have more.
I believe one more week.
Yeah, so please do not give up. Call back. We want to talk to you.
We will do this again next Thursday at the same time, right around 10:50. But the decision has come down. Dave from the Shaw, congratulations, $100. Really generous of you, and also the generous people at Auto Glass Now.
Exactly.
They are the ones who are making this possible and not requiring you to spend that $100 with them.
No, and Dave, please stay on the line. I'm going to get to you at the break to get your information real quick. And also, like I said before, I'd love to know if the people from Auto Glass Now, very generous to do this, and if they were almost saying that I want this to be an experiment. I want them to know that the money that they have been giving us to give to other people has been given to generous causes. Like no one has been saying it's for me.
Right.
I mean, honestly, and even if it was like, hey, my house got hit by a tornado, I need to buy school supplies. That's fine too.
Absolutely.
It's been all in the vein of generosity.
See, this is what Wisconsin is. This is what I'd like to believe that Wisconsinites are.
Well, good people.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Dave from the Shaw, hang on. We will get your information. And again, thank you so much to Auto Glass Now. They offer fast, reliable, convenient service for a limited time only. Auto Glass Now offering 50% off their windshield replacement. Call your local Auto Glass Now today for all of the details, and call them and thank them for their generosity as well. That would be terrific. Coming up against the break, when we come back, Dr. Kristen Lyerly will be here with a public service announcement. And we're going to talk about what's going on with your body when you're close to delivering a baby.
That's right.
And then we're going to talk flu shots as well. So stick around. This is As Goes Wisconsin. Don't go away on the Civic Media Radio Network.
Your kids about the dangers of vaping can be hard. Getting them to listen to hot gossip is easy. So here's some drama you could share with your kid. Dude, did you hear about Cassie and Jake? No, but did you hear that vaping can cause irreversible lung damage and nicotine affects brain development? Nuh-uh. You don't need to gossip if you want to have an open conversation about vaping. So if you want to get tips on when and how to talk to your kids, visit talkaboutvaping.org. Brought to you by the American Lung Association and the Ad Council.
Join the conversation with your favorite hosts or shows anytime. Follow Civic Media on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Share your thoughts on our social media channels wherever you are, whenever you want. The Civic Media Network of local radio stations here for you.
You are listening to The Shaw, WAUK 540 AM Jackson, W266DR Waukesha, and always streaming on the Civic Media app.
This is CBS News on the Hour, presented by Indeed.com.
I'm Steve Kathan. A House panel is holding its first hearing on a push to open an impeachment inquiry into President Biden. Republican James Comer.
For years, President Biden has lied to the American people about his knowledge of and participation in his family's corrupt business schemes.
But Maryland Democrat Jamie Raskin says there's no evidence.
If the Republicans had a smoking gun or even a dripping water pistol, they would be presenting it today, but they've got nothing on Joe Biden.
Sorting things out after last night's second Republican presidential primary debate. CBS's Ed O'Keefe.
The frontrunner in the Republican presidential primary was absent for the second time from a GOP debate. And with Donald Trump's expanding lead in Iowa and New Hampshire, his campaign's already telling CBS News he won't attend the third debate in Miami in November.
You're ducking these things. No one up here is going to call you Donald Trump anymore. We're going to call you Donald Duck.
CBS News polling in the early states of Iowa and New Hampshire show most GOP voters are still considering multiple candidates, despite Trump's double-digit lead.
Army Private Travis King is back in the U.S., arriving in San Antonio overnight. He was released by North Korea yesterday, 2 months after he darted unexpectedly over the border into the country. A major airline under federal pressure has made some changes, as we hear from CBS's Cammie McCormick.
United agreed to improve air travel for passengers with wheelchairs under an agreement with the Transportation Department. This follows a government investigation into a disability complaint. The airline will now make available a flight filter on its booking engine to make it easier for wheelchair passengers to find flights where those chairs fit, or can be safely transported, and refund any fare where they're not.
There are complaints from buyers that the new Apple iPhone 15 can get too hot to handle. Tech analyst Ian Scher.
It's unclear whether or not Apple will need to make a fix to the hardware, which could force a recall, or if it can solve these problems with a simple software update.
He says an update to deal with an issue like that could slow down performance. Apple has not commented. He was the voice of authority in 6 of the Harry Potter movies.
You seem to be laboring under the delusion that I'm going to, what was the phrase? Come quietly.
Actor Michael Gambon, who played Dumbledore, has died at 82 after falling ill with pneumonia. His movie resume also includes the likes of Gosford Park and The King's Speech. Checking Wall Street. Right now, the Dow is up 81 points, and the S&P 500 is ahead 13. This is CBS News.
You need to hire? Indeed is with you every step of the way, helping you attract, interview, and hire candidates all from one place. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
The Civic Media Network of radio stations across Wisconsin. We are your hometown radio, refreshed.
With news on WAUK The Shaw, I'm Stuart J. Waddles. The 2024 Waukesha County budget has been unveiled by County Executive Paul Farrow.
The budget totals over $391 million with a $114 million tax levy. If approved, it would lead to a 9.1% reduction in the tax rate, marking the lowest in 30 years and the lowest among Wisconsin counties. Farrow emphasized the budget's focus on law enforcement funding, including increased allocations to the Sheriff's Department, courts, District Attorney's Office, County Dispatch, and the Medical Examiner's Office. Pete Schwaba, Civic Media News.
For the 16th time this year, TSA found a gun while screening luggage in Mitchell. TSA officers Monday alerted the Milwaukee County Sheriff's Office, who promptly confiscated the unloaded gun. People can travel with weapons, but there are specific guidelines for that process. With news on WAUK The Shaw, I'm Stuart J. Waddles.
Discover the secret to a healthier you at Lake County Botanics. Vape Walkie specializes in top quality hemp products from CBD to Delta 8, all curated just for you. You'll find Delta 8, Delta 10, THCA, and more legal hemp compounds in disposable vapes, cartridges, edibles, and more. Isolates, broad spectrum, or full spectrum CBD, they've got it all. They even have products for your furry friend. Open Monday to Saturday, 11 to 7, and Sundays from 11 to 5. Mention this ad to get a free gummy at 215 Oakton Avenue, Suite C, if you walk LakeCountyBotanics.com.
Here's to trekking through a kaleidoscope of fall color in Wisconsin. To being like, who's up for whitewater rafting and turning stories into souvenirs? Here's to rich traditions made new again with good company and seasonal flavors that taste even better when shared with friends. Here's to those who Wisconsin. Plan your fall getaway at travelwisconsin.com. Sponsored by Travel Wisconsin.
Red Delicious, Honey Crisp, Granny Smith. If you have a favorite apple, now is the time to pick it straight from the source. Did you know Wisconsin has more than 300 apple orchards? Travel Wisconsin recently naming its favorites, including the Oneida National Apple Orchard outside Green Bay, Ferguson's Orchards in Eau Claire, and Apple Holler south of Racine. Many provide tons of family fun in the fall, too. Tire swings, lawn bowling, hay rides, and more. Apple experts suggest if you want to pick yours fresh, do it before the end of October. For Civic Media, I'm Terry. It's easy to listen to your favorite local radio station anytime. Download the Civic Media app from the Apple or Google Play Store, then listen live or whenever you want from anywhere for free.
From the Civic Media Radio Network, moving Wisconsin forward one joke at a time. This is As Goes Wisconsin with Kristen Bry.
So it goes. But where it's going, no one knows. Hello, Wisconsin!
Now, filling in for the new mom, here's Jane Matinaire.
Welcome to hour 2 of As Goes Wisconsin. Greg Bach is on the board. It is time for our public service announcement with Dr. Kristen Lyerly. She is joining us, and she is not a new mom yet. So that's where we're going to start. It
is a very special day.
It is a special day, and we're waiting for news, and you came up with the best line, Dr. Lyerly.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
We have breaking water news.
Oh! She sent me that last night, and I was like, oh, that's such a good line. I'm ashamed I did not think of that myself.
Dr. Lyerly, as a professional comedian, I am both angry at me and you for coming up with something so beautiful and brilliant.
Breaking water news. It's destined to be a classic.
I feel like we don't know where Kristen is at with her labor right now, but I am almost certain that she is in the hospital listening to us. And if she is pushing, it is my experience that if we can make pushing moms laugh, the laughter and the muscle contractions that laughter causes actually helps with pushing. And I have been part of births where babies come out because somebody told a good joke and moms are laughing. Wouldn't that be an amazing way for Kristen's baby to come into the world?
Well, Dr. Lyerly, I'm just going to ask the question really. So you're saying, once again, as a professional comedian, I have a new venue to work?
Yes.
Just walk right in there and be like, hey, folks, how y'all doing?
I know you didn't call for me, but here I am.
Airline food. Isn't that crazy?
That's really funny, and it's unexpected. And I always, movies that you see about women who are in labor and they're in pain and they're angry and get this thing out of me. And I just wouldn't think that would be a good time to go, so 3 pregnant women walked into a bar. I would think she might hit you.
Everybody's labor is kind of different. There are some people who are really into their labor and they're really like, it's a very internal thing as they're coping with it. And there are other people who, especially if they have an epidural and they're feeling very comfortable, they're joking around and playing games and watching movies. And it's just really like casual as you're waiting.
So what does the epidural do?
The epidural is the best thing that we have for labor pain management. It's kind of like an IV that goes into this space by your spine, and it delivers a continuous infusion of pain medication so that you can't feel anything below like your ribs.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's fantastic, but you still have the muscle control and the strength to push your baby out. So if you've got a good epidural, and they don't always work, I mean, I'm sure there are plenty of listeners out there who have like bad epidural stories, but for most people, they work really well and they provide wonderful pain relief, and they allow you to feel much more comfortable about something that can be a really scary life event.
Oh, absolutely. It's gotta be frightening, especially for a first-time mom. And from what I understand, those epidurals are very time sensitive. They have to be administered within the right period of time. Otherwise, it's kind of too late.
Well, it depends on a lot of things, like how fast is someone's labor moving? Is it, are things going so fast that you think that they're going to deliver before they can even get the epidural, or before the epidural is actually going to provide any relief? And what does mom want? What are her goals for her labor? There are a lot of women who come in saying, I just want to do this naturally. And then once the pain starts and they start to realize, like, this is really uncomfortable, it is okay. Like, nobody gives you a gold medal if you get through your labor without an epidural. So why not just be comfortable, enjoy the experience, and do whatever you need to do to make it your experience, not what other people are telling you to do.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm sure there's so much pressure to do things a certain way. And it's always seemed, I have two sisters who have children, and whenever they talk about it, it's always like the labor Olympics. Well, I was in labor for 22 hours. That's nothing. I was in labor for 97 days. It's
You're doing it wrong.
but it does seem to be like I endured more agony than you, and therefore I am better.
It's like the pain Olympics.
Yeah.
I think so. Well, think about what a huge day this is. This is, as animals, which we are fundamentally, our whole reason is to procreate. So this event is a huge part of our lives. So no wonder. Everybody wants to feel like this, like theirs was some sort of an Olympic event. And why not? Like, enjoy it. Be proud of what you did.
Oh, absolutely. I'm not trying to denigrate it. I've just always said to my sisters, it's like you're having a competition for who was more miserable. So if you're just joining us, Dr. Kristen Lyerly is with us until 11:30. It is our public cervix announcement. And a reminder, you can always text in questions at 844-967-2789 or shoot us an email at asgoeswisconsin@civicmedia.us if you have questions for her for next week. She is here every Thursday with us starting at 11 o'clock. So, Dr. Lyerly, when Kristen has LJ, what happens with your body? So you've released this person who you've been your body's been taking care of it for 9 months. Is it a real slow change? It's not like your hormones automatically snap back and it's just zing.
Well, once this little parasite leaves your body.
That's her nickname. Little Parasite.
Oh, Dr. Lyerly bringing the truth.
She's on fire today.
They are, though. They are kind of like parasites. They, drain your body of energy and nutrients and calcium and all of these things. But, we're happy to provide this for them as long as we don't have to endure a forced pregnancy. So that's a good thing. So, but the pregnancy isn't over when the baby comes out. And I think it's really important, if you are a politician in Wisconsin right now, I think it is really important for you to recognize that just because the baby is out does not mean the pregnancy is over. It takes a year for someone's body to recover from a pregnancy.
It takes a year?
It really does. Of course, the initial recovery is rapid. A lot of changes happen right away. The uterus kind of, shrinks down. The uterus is just a big muscle. So the uterus shrinks down right away. Your hormones change. Of course, there's bleeding. So, the bleeding kind of tapers off. But there are so many things that are going on that this is a really important time for you as a patient, as a person going through this, to pay close attention to what's happening. And if something seems off, you gotta report it, because this is a time when heart conditions can develop, blood pressure problems can develop, blood clots can develop. And those are all things that are obviously bad. But then you're dealing with breastfeeding, and you're dealing with, maybe you have hip pain or leg pain or, other things associated with the actual birth event. There is a lot going on, especially in that first couple of weeks. Recently, the American College of Obstetricians and Gynecologists recommended that we do a postpartum visit. It used to be at 6 weeks. Now we want you coming back at 2, because so much is happening. Yes, but that's not magic. Like, don't wait until 2 weeks if something is wrong. Call your doctor. There are way too many bad things that can happen in the postpartum period. And actually 2/3 of the moms who die associated with their pregnancy die in the postpartum period. So don't mess around with that time.
Is that widely known, Dr. Lyerly?
I don't think so.
Do you think our male politicians understand
Are
that?
male politicians think that women can shut their pregnancies down themselves just by wishing? Of course, they don't know this.
That's true. We have heard male politicians actually testify that that's the case, that the body will reject a pregnancy if it doesn't want it. I mean, and I've heard people in Wisconsin, male politicians in Wisconsin, say the pregnancy is over. So why do we have to extend Medicaid to make sure that these moms can get care? I know, but I mean, these moms are dealing with breastfeeding issues and mental health issues and addiction issues and blood pressure issues. They need support, they need access, and they need us as a community to stand behind them. If we truly care about moms and babies, that's what they need.
Dr. Liley, I wanted to ask you a question from a non-baby having person. As a partner, what can a partner, whomever it is, what can they do in the delivery room if they so choose to be there to help, comfort, support? Are there any stories or things you've seen that say those are the things to do? I mean, because it seems obvious, of course, what to do, but are there specific things? Because in that time, in that room, stuff's happening and it can get full of pressure and there can be emotion. So what can a partner do to just help, even if it's just stand back and say, I will do nothing?
That is a wonderful question. There's so much going on in the delivery room at that time. And I always think about if there is a man present, the partner, the husband, what is he thinking? Or, even if it's a female partner, when you are not the person who is the center of attention, who's going through all of this, what are you going through as you're watching someone you love and care about do something so extraordinary, but so horribly hard and life-changing? And every event is different. So I've had dads catch their own babies. Literally,
Wow.
we've gotten them up and put gloves on them and they've gotten in there and they've done the deliveries. I've had dads just flat pass out and we've had to give them medical attention. A lot of it depends on the dynamic. Sometimes women in labor want massages and they want a cool compress on their forehead and they want you to be, there snuggling. I've had dads climb into beds behind moms and help them push. It's so cool when they when they are finding their groove and they can get engaged and it's working for that dyad. That is amazing. I've also had dads just sit over in a corner because I think it's overwhelming. So, there are many times where the nurses are just checking in with them and, we're making sure that dad feels comfortable and welcome in this space that he needs to feel comfortable in. So, Greg, I love your question because dad's part of this too. This is not just about a mom and a baby. This is about all of it.
Yeah,
absolutely. All right. Kristen Lyerly will be back with us on the other side of the break. We hope you will stick with us too. You're listening to As Goes Wisconsin on the Civic Media Radio Network.
Wisconsin is facing an unprecedented threat, a constitutional crisis that would overrule the votes of nearly 2 million Wisconsinites who voted in the state Supreme Court election this past April. It's a threat made by some extremist Republicans who are desperate to overturn a fair and democratic election so they can hold on to power. Instead of focusing on the issues we really care about, they are threatening to illegally impeach Justice Janet Protasiewicz without evidence before she's even ruled on a single case. Removing Justice Janet Protasiewicz from office would threaten our democracy and overrule the will of the people. But it's not too late to protect your vote and stand up for the rule of law. Tell your state legislators not to overturn the results of an election. Tell them to oppose the illegal impeachment of Justice Janet Protasiewicz. Contact your state legislators at 1-800-362-9472. Then visit defendjustice.us to learn more about how you can help stop the illegal impeachment of Justice Janet. Paid for by A Better Wisconsin Together Incorporated.
Uh-oh, did a rock hit your windshield from that semi? Don't worry. Autoglass Now offers fast, reliable, and convenient service. For a limited time only, Autoglass Now is offering 50% off windshield replacement. Call your local Autoglass Now today for full details.
It's never personal, only politics. The Devil's Advocates Radio Show with Dom and Cruz. Weekdays from 4 until 6 on your local Civic Media radio station and on the Civic Media app.
Here's your updated forecast on the Shaw. Highs around 68 this afternoon. Under overcast skies, northeast winds 5 to 10 miles an hour. Partly cloudy skies tonight. Lows level off around 53. High temperatures reach up to 71. Tomorrow, cloudy skies with a few peaks of sun. Dry with temps well above average. Saturday and Sunday at highs in the upper 70s. For Civic Media, I'm meteorologist Eric Height. Currently, it's 61 degrees.
Broadcasting to Waukesha at 101.1 FM. Broadcasting to Southeast Wisconsin at 540 AM. This is The Shaw.
Welcome back to As Goes Wisconsin. Jane Matner in for Kristen Bry. Greg Bach is on the board, and it is our weekly Thursday segment, Public Service Announcement with Dr. Kristen Lyerly, and we are talking about Little Mama and what she's probably going through right now and what the partner should do in the room during delivery. My question, Dr. Lyerly, is what should friends do once LP comes? Now, for little Parasite.
I love that. Well, it really kind of depends. Again, everybody's pregnancy is different. So I think something that you can do to show support, everybody needs support. Maybe bring a meal over, send a card. If you send a text or some sort of communication, don't expect something back. They're going to be really, really busy for the first couple of days, probably not sleeping, trying to figure out a groove, but maybe just, sharing a little message of support that you're available if there's anything that they need. And, if you're close, maybe something a little bit even more invasive, like dropping something off, pack of diapers on the front porch, something like that. But it's support more than anything that people need during that immediate postpartum period.
But it needs to be hit and run support. It's like, don't drop by and expect them to invite you in and have coffee and snacks. For me, that would be a nightmare. You know what I mean? Your hair is dirty and you don't feel good and the baby is crying and the last thing you need is some unannounced company, right?
Well, and your boobs are leaking and you're bleeding all over the place. Like physically, you're really not in a place where visitors.
It's a good thing.
Knowing Kristen, she'll be all tidied up and she'll be perfect. But I can tell you, like me postpartum, I was like, what time of day is it?
Yeah.
Is there food? Like, everything is all messed up because your clock is all messed up. And so little things like, can I pick something up from the grocery store for you and leave it on your front porch without any obligation to have any sort of social interaction? Or, maybe you reach out with a text and she says, I could really use somebody to talk to. Bing, there you go. Try to be available.
And remember, it's not about us as her friends and people who love her.
Yeah.
It's about Kristen and LP and Mike.
Because honestly, there's sometimes a competition that happens with the non-baby happy. Like, I saw the baby first.
Exactly.
I got the picture first. I got the text first. I got the call first.
I'm the special friend.
Yeah, you will see the baby when it's your time, and that time will be decided by the parents. And that goes for the grandparents, the uncles, the aunts, the friends, everyone. Wait your turn. You will get there.
And if you are patient and you wait your turn, then your rank will move up in Kristen's list because you are being obnoxious and needy.
This is why I love Dr. Kristen Lyerly. She understands strategy.
Absolutely. 844-967-2789. You can always text if you have a question for Dr. Lyerly from the 715 I'm not sure, Dr. Larley, if you know this off the top of your head, but I'll throw it at you anyway. I've heard that pregnant people are eligible for Wisconsin's Forward Health Plan, even as a secondary insurance to cover costs that the primary insurance doesn't. Do you know any details about this? And if this is true, why is this not widely known?
That is a great question. I do not know the answer to that, but your healthcare provider should know that. Every pregnant person in Wisconsin has healthcare coverage through Wisconsin's Badger Care program. So if you are pregnant and you cannot afford your own healthcare coverage, and of course you have to meet that income standard,
Sure.
but if you can't afford your own healthcare, you can get Badger Care. We want you to come in to be seen, to receive the kind of prenatal care that you need. There are plenty. We are romantic about pregnancy. We feel like people have been doing this forever. It's fine. It's not fine. There are so many things that can go wrong, and so many things that if we know about it in advance, we can head off at the pass. We can educate, we can support. So if you are pregnant and you don't have healthcare coverage and you qualify for Badger Care, please come on in, get plugged in. Let us help you. Let us help you.
It can be, I mean, as you said, there can be complications. Things can come up during delivery. It can be a very, very expensive process delivering a baby, right?
Super expensive. Well, I mean, healthcare in general is the number one reason in this country why people go bankrupt.
Right.
And before Obamacare, it was common for health insurance to carve out pregnancy coverage. So you might, I know, isn't that crazy? I'm looking at Jane's face. So you might have insurance coverage through your job. You might have had insurance coverage through your job, and your job may have just chosen not to cover pregnancy. So which is the number one reason why women of reproductive age end up needing medical care. So tell me that's not discrimination.
Do you know why that is, Jane? Because the people writing the legislation and the rules look like me.
No, they don't.
Fair. You're right. You're right. At one point, maybe, but not so much now.
I find that genuinely shocking. I really do. Like, this is some aberration that only a couple women ever get pregnant, so we don't need to cover for this. That's remarkable.
Oh, but still now, insurance companies, there have been a number of hits on Obamacare. So there are some companies that don't have to offer contraception coverage, right? We all heard about Hobby Lobby.
Right.
There are Catholic hospitals that won't provide any contraception, including sterilization. So I could have a patient who comes in and I do their C-section. I'm literally looking at their fallopian tubes, and I cannot do their sterilization procedure because we're in a Catholic hospital.
Dr. Kristen Lyerly joins us every Thursday at 11 o'clock for Public Service Announcement. It should be a much different show next week. We're all very excited. We're all very, very excited. Thank you so much.
Let's all send our love to Kristen and baby LP.
That's right. All right. Coming up next, J.R. Radcliffe. We're talking sports. Go sports. Please stay right here. This is As Goes Wisconsin on the Civic Media Radio Network.
Advocates, weekday afternoons from 4 until 6 on The Shaw, 540 AM and 101.1 FM, WAUK.
CBS News special report. House Republicans open their first formal hearing trying to make the case for an impeachment proceeding against President Biden.
The House Oversight and Accountability Committee has uncovered a mountain of evidence revealing how Joe Biden abused his public office for his family's financial gain.
Committee Chairman James Comer of Kentucky. Maryland Democrat Jamie Raskin says the GOP has no smoking gun, nothing to go on.
Even after 8 months of investigation, they've invited 3 witnesses to testify. Not one of them is an eyewitness to a presidential crime.
Today's witnesses are experts on tax law, criminal investigations, and Jonathan Turley, a constitutional law scholar who cautioned against impeaching then President Trump.
The shortening intervals between impeachments should be a cause of concern and circumspection for all the members on both sides.
CBS News special report. I'm Steve Kathan.
Your home for local news, weather, and sports across the airwaves and always streaming on the Civic Media app.
With news on WAUK The Shaw, I'm Stuart J. Waddles. Planned Parenthood has recently restarted offering abortion services in Madison and Milwaukee, and they have intentions to do the same at their Sheboygan clinic.
The plan may face hurdles due to the Sheboygan County District Attorney's intent to prosecute doctors who breached the state's 1849 abortion ban. Anti-abortion groups such as Pro-Life Wisconsin are expressing doubts about Planned Parenthood's decision, pointing to an ongoing lawsuit challenging the state's abortion ban initiated by the state attorney general. Nate Wiggiehout, Civic Media News.
Milwaukee police believe that the shooting at Elsa's on the park near Cathedral Square last night was not a random incident. 2 people inside the bar suffered injuries when someone outside the bar opened fire. While police don't consider it a random act, they haven't said whether there was any prior connection between the victims and the suspect. With news on WAUK The Shaw, I'm Stuart J. Waddles.
The Cripes Cast with Charlie Behrens.
Today, I am talking to the owner of Funky Fresh Spring Rolls, my friend Truman McGee. From an environmentally friendly perspective, the fact that it's frozen means that it's not going to waste.
I'm a serial strawberry abuser. If you're a fruit and you're watching this, stay away from me, okay? Do not jump in my shopping cart because I will let you die.
Cripes Cast every Saturday and Sunday at noon across Civic Media and on the Civic Media app.
Hi, we're the Goo Goo Dolls. We're fortunate that our daughters have what they need to grow and learn. But that isn't the case for nearly 13 million kids in the U.S. that struggle with hunger.
Childhood hunger is a heartbreaking reality that Feeding America is working to change. Each year, the Feeding America network of food banks rescues billions of pounds of good food that would have gone to waste and provides it to families and children in need.
You can help kids in need in your community by visiting feedingamerica.org.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
My name is Teresa Barber. I was in the United States Navy and I served overseas in the Middle East and Africa. Early on in my career, I had a commander that taught our suicide prevention training, and the very next day he took his own life. 90% of suicide attempts involving a gun are fatal. My way of continuing my service is to help protect my community by being a responsible gun owner and by storing firearms safely. Store all your guns securely. Help stop suicide.
Brought to you by End Family Fire and the Ad Council.
Fear you may be missing out? We're always streaming on TuneIn and the Civic Media app. Enjoy listening live or catch up by finding the podcast at civicmedia.us or wherever you enjoy listening to your podcasts.
Sports go sports. I promise I really totally care who wins. If there's a net or a hoop or a hole in the ground, I hope they get it in. If they want to go to all the bases, I hope they do. If they're supposed to run past the line or whatever, I hope they do that too. Sports go sports.
Welcome to As Goes Wisconsin. Jane Matnier in for Kristen Bry. Greg Bach is on the board. Greg, we remain on
Baby Watch.
We are still on Baby Watch. Don't have anything to report just yet. As soon as we do, obviously, we will let you know what's going on with Mama Kristen and LP. Now we're going with for Little Parasite. Right now, though, we are going to talk about all things sports. And joining us is a longtime sports reporter for the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel, J.R. Radcliffe. Thank you so much for joining us, J.R. How you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you guys doing?
We are well. J.R., do you have kids?
Yeah. I do. I have a 9-year-old and an 11-year-old.
Were you in the room when they were delivered?
I was, yes. One was quite arduous and terrible and not a good day, and the other one was super, super easy. So I definitely preferred the latter over the former.
I'm sure. And what job did you, sir? What jobs did you provide?
Mostly, I was definitely the designated panicker because I was panicking. The first one,
Were you?
The first one was really quite scary, but in retrospect, probably not so much. Like in the moment, it was scary, and in retrospect,
I'm sure.
It's like, these people know what they're doing. They're very good at this. The second one was planned C-section, went very smoothly. At some point, I was like, "Do you guys want this baby? Because everything is going great. I'm just, I'm good. The baby's fine. Like, you take this baby."
We're all good. All right.
Who wants to get lunch?
Yeah, right. It's just about that time of day too. It was perfect. Yeah. I'm sure I was thinking about lunch. So moral support and all that. And my wife did obviously all of the work, and I was just happy to be along for the ride.
Well, that's wonderful. And we are all, sending Kristen and Mike all the best and all our love and all of that. And if she's listening right now, that would, as Dr. Lyerly said, hopefully we can make her laugh. That might actually speed up the entire process. So we're going to start with a really big story from last night involving the Bucks, JR.
Mm-hmm. It's Dame time. It's Dame time in Milwaukee. They traded for Damian Lillard, probably one of the 10 best players in the NBA right now. They made a huge blockbuster trade and acquired him from the Portland Trail Blazers. He'd been with the Blazers for 11 years. He's the all-time leading scorer in Blazers history. He's and they brought him in. He's tremendous offensive firepower to pair with Giannis. They had to send out Drew Holiday, who was traded to the Blazers. It was a 3-team trade, so Grayson Allen also got traded as well to the Suns. But long story short, they have now kind of this unbelievable running mate to go alongside Giannis and Chris Middleton, for that matter. And it does cost them a pretty good player in Drew Holiday for sure. And Grayson Allen's no slouch either. But this is a big deal. It's going to make the Bucks one of the best teams. They already were one of the best teams, but now kind of the bona fide favorite in the Eastern Conference. Maybe the favorite for the NBA title, although the Denver Nuggets are still very, very good. So no slam dunk there. But this is a guy that I think everybody kind of thought he would go to Miami. That was certainly where all the rumblings were. Maybe Toronto. Not sure anyone saw Milwaukee coming. So that definitely sent some ripples through the sports world yesterday.
And what is it going to do to the Bucks game losing Drew?
Well, so it's essentially, I think, what's happening. I mean, Drew Holiday is just tremendous, one of the best defenders in basketball, one of the best defensive players. Offensively, it was a little hit and miss. He scored 50 points in a game, 40 points in a game. Like he had that capability, but he wasn't a consistent, like maybe offensive force. He certainly wasn't like a top 20 offensive player in the NBA or anything. So they're sacrificing quite a bit of that defense to upgrade dramatically on offense. And that sort of makes sense. Like the Bucks are not a team that's playing for the regular season. The regular season doesn't matter. They're going to the playoffs. They're just that good. They will absolutely, in the NBA format, be a playoff team. So it's all about what happens then. And I think Drew was a little inconsistent in the playoffs offensively. And I think we saw this last year when they were shocked by Miami. They just couldn't score the basketball. They couldn't score it in stretches. Miami did a good job sort of bogging down Giannis, and they didn't have anybody else, Chris Middleton a little bit, but they didn't have anybody else that could really change things. And to have that other offensive weapon on the floor, it spaces things out. There's going to be less attention on Giannis, so he'll have more room to operate. But more importantly, you got a guy who can hit a shot from anywhere in the gym. He hits big shots. He's got like 25 career shots in the last 20 seconds that either tie or win a game. I mean, the guy's amazing. He's a marvel. And it's definitely going to give them a lot more offense. It's going to subtract from their defense a little bit. But I think the Bucks calculation is we needed the offense. The defense made us a very good regular season team. And in the playoffs, when we needed offense, we didn't have it. We're now moving more toward let's focus on what we really need in the playoffs.
If you're just joining us, J.R. Radcliffe is our guest, and we're talking first and foremost about the big Bucks trade. They just picked up Damian Lillard. Damian Lillard. I don't have my notes in front of me. And losing Drew Holiday. Greg, you were at the open mic last night, and you said you could feel the ripple when that news came down.
Yeah, I sent a text message to my friend Dana Ehrman, fantastic comedian here in Milwaukee. I mean, such a huge Bucks fan, the Bucks follow her. And when I said, I'm sorry about your loss for Drew Holiday, and she goes, it was time. I'm so much more excited about Dame Lillard. And then I got to the open mic, and it was literally people high-fiving and hugging. One guy, this is how much this guy loves Lillard. He has a Portland Trail Blazers jersey with Lillard's name. He wore it last night, and he was like hugging comedians and bar staff. And the room was energetic because of it. Like people were talking all night about it.
It's definitely going to, I mean, he made the list. The NBA had a list of the 75 greatest players through its first 75 years. He's on it. I mean, so is Giannis. But there were 11 active players who were on that list, and 2 of them now play for the Milwaukee Bucks. That's incredible. He's 33 years old. He's not a spring chicken, but he just had a really good year last year, even though he didn't, he had some injuries here and there, but he definitely is still that guy. He's not in his prime, but he is still a major difference maker. It harkens back to 1970 when the Bucks traded for Oscar Robertson, which is considered kind of one of the biggest deals in Wisconsin sports history, gave them that missing piece with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. They went on and won the NBA championship that very first season that Oscar was here. So it absolutely has that kind of vibe to it.
It was interesting, too, just to see how quickly different memes started showing up on Twitter with Damian and Giannis and all the mashups of them standing together in front of the skyline.
The
and all that
Calgary
stuff.
skyline?
Yes. Yeah, whoops.
Not the first time that Milwaukee has been mistaken for a different skyline in a graphic. It's very funny.
I'll take Canada.
Yeah.
When do you like? I feel like almost I feel like as Wisconsin sports fans, say not so much the Packers, but Bucks and Brewers specifically, we have this tendency to be like, okay, we'll see what happens. I feel like Milwaukee, as far as the Bucks go, are starting to feel that energy of, yeah, we are a top team now. We like this. Like we're going to prove that 2 years ago wasn't a fluke. We've got the tools together and we've got the players in line now. As far as I know, we need one more player in the roster. As far as I was made aware,
there's a roster opening. Yeah.
Yeah, and so it feels like now Milwaukee can say like, oh no, we're the Bucks. Here we come.
And I would hope to think people feel that way already. I mean, they've been one of the best teams in the league for many years in a row at this point. So, they were the number one seed in the East last year, and that's part of why it was so disappointing that they lost in the first round in kind of historic fashion. So, there is though a sense that, well, there's two things. The sense that they've lost a little of that momentum from 2021 when they won the championship. Things these last couple of years didn't go to plan. They didn't even make it to the conference finals, and then Giannis has, and I don't think what Giannis has said publicly about, possibly looking elsewhere if the Bucks aren't committed to a championship team. There's been some buzz about that. He's always made similar comments. It doesn't strike me that there is an added urgency that Giannis is actively looking elsewhere because he doesn't think the Bucks are committed to like continuing this championship culture. But certainly if the organization felt that was more of a serious, threat's too strong a word, but more of a serious rumination, then they have addressed that because they are now bringing in a player. Granted, he's the same age as Drew Holiday, but this is a player who can absolutely be the difference between a championship or not. So they are very much back into that conversation.
I don't even want to think about the potential of Giannis going somewhere else.
Everyone wants him to retire a Buck.
Seriously, and it just seems like he and Mariah and his family are such a part of the fabric of Milwaukee and Wisconsin. I would be more upset about that than I can't even put into words.
Yeah, it's going to require one more.
Up.
It would require one more contract. He's at least he's going to be here for the next couple years. I would also say that Drew and Lauren Holiday were a huge part of this, the fabric of Milwaukee too. They were extremely active in charitable ventures, social justice issues, promoting Black and brown businesses. I mean, they were really, really great, and they've been great wherever they go. They're just top-notch people.
Good people.
They leave that legacy wherever they go. Wherever he goes next, no, it's not clear. He's not going to end up in Portland. They're going to trade him. And the thing that we haven't maybe quite come to terms with yet is they could very easily trade him to a team like Boston, which is the top competitor with Milwaukee for the Eastern Conference, or the New York Knicks, who could easily rise up. Like he could definitely be part of the plans against the Bucks going forward. Sure. We still have to sort that out. But yeah, it's a bummer to lose Drew Holiday. But like you said, with the people high-fiving, no one is confusing this. They got a lot better, even with the sacrifice.
All right, well, we are going to move on to the Packers. Our friend Joe McClear texted earlier today on the live stream. Are you guys going to talk about tonight's game? Because if you need someone to pester you about how the Lions are going to pound the Pack into the dirt, just let me know. JR, your reaction to that very sassy text.
Slanderous, libelous. I'm not sure if this is written word or not. So this is a rivalry that is a little near and dear to my heart because my wife is a huge Lions fan. She is a Detroit native, big football fan, and we do have a Lions flag flying at my house.
Oh, wow.
Because my wife is such a big fan. So I cannot say that I share that viewpoint. I've always thought the Lions were quite adorable as a non-threatening franchise participating in the same division as the Green Bay Packers, and I wish them well. I kind of like the color of their jerseys. They're very nice. But they are now a threat. They are actually a pretty good team. I do think they are better than the Packers at this particular stage, and I think they actually probably will win this game. That's my expectation. But I would say that the Lions are just as they've had some injuries. I'm not sure this is the best version of them coming into Lambeau Field, and I've been impressed by what the Packers have done so far. I think Jordan Love's been really good. He's certainly had some, inconsistency flashes in the first half of last week's game against the Saints was really quite bad for him, but then he figured it out. He rallied when the chips were down. He made some incredible plays. He is really capable of making those sort of snap judgments or scramble plays. He's been quite a bit better than I thought he was going to be. So this is a huge test because the Vikings and Bears are quite bad. They do not have a win yet between them. This could very well be already a matchup that determines who wins the NFC North. Like down the line, you could see these two teams being tied or one game, separated by a game. This is a very meaningful matchup. It's a shame it happens on a Thursday. It's not an ideal time. The scheduling, Thursday night games are usually really a mess. So it's a shame that it maybe is a little more random than it would be otherwise. But this is a really compelling matchup.
Well, and it's got to be for Detroit fans. It just seems to me like they've been losers for so long. Every Thanksgiving they would play the Packers, right? And then the Packers would crush them every Thanksgiving. They just were terrible for years and years and years and years and years.
Well, there is one Thanksgiving where Matt Flynn was quarterback and the Lions destroyed the Packers on Thanksgiving. But that's neither here nor there.
That was an aberration.
Yes.
It's not canon.
No. The Lions did, of course, beat the Packers twice last year, too. They've had their moments. They've had their moments. But traditionally, dating back the last 3 decades, the Packers have had their way with Detroit. Detroit does not go to the playoffs very often. This is a very big moment in Detroit Lions fandom. Their coach has really kind of turned things around. Beating the Packers on the last day of the season last year was nearly put Detroit in the playoffs. That was a very meaningful occasion for them. So there is something to be gained here for Detroit. They are going to be motivated.
And I agree with you, too, about Jordan Love. I think he comes in with a great deal of poise and a great deal of confidence. And not that he's completely inexperienced, but, you've been a backbencher for a long time. And it's been really great to see him come out there and do well and bring it home. And he also looks little to me.
Oh, really? He's not little. He's a big guy.
Is he? How tall is he?
If I say it, I'll be wrong. I want to say he's 6'4", but I could be wrong.
Oh, he is that tall. I don't know
so.
why he looks so slight to me.
I guess he's a skinnier guy, but I am very blown away by his poise as well. He seems very chill, very relaxed. He's in a very tough situation replacing a legend, and he seems to like totally roll with it. That is definitely matched up with the way he's played too.
J.R. Radcliffe is the sports reporter for the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel. He joins us every other Thursday on As Goes Wisconsin. Thank you so much, JR. We'll talk to you in a couple weeks.
Sounds good. See you then.
All right. Sounds good. Stay close. Coming up next, it is What's Happening at the Laughing Tap. We're going to get an update from Greg Bach and hear from the headlining comedian who's going to be there this weekend. So stick around for that, please. We are As Goes Wisconsin. We're on the Civic Media Radio Network.
Athletics are number 1. Participants are heroes. Go team, yeah. Sports, go sports. Athletics are number 1. Participants are heroes. Go team, yeah.
Hey, this is Matt from Design Garden. Remember when the internet was new? Back then, you had to leave your house to start a business. Companies used to pay programmers bags of cash to get online. Now, small businesses can get online with a Facebook business page, or Squarespace, or Google My Business, or WordPress. But which tools should you use? Can you afford to go down the wrong path? Design Garden uses modern tools to build your website the right way. Find us online at design.garden. Again, that's design.garden.
From the kennel to the coop, whatever the season, Fleet Farm has everything to keep your animals happy and healthy. From training your pup to sit season, to mastering those retrieval skills season. From clipping your horse for competition season, to keeping the backyard birds well-fed season. And of course, loving your pets like family season. There's a reason people say, if Fleet Farm doesn't have it, you don't need it. Because we have it all. Fleet Farm. Built for real life.
Weather brought to you by the town of Brookfield's 3rd annual Brooktoberfest, September 30th from 11 until 6 at Steffen Soccer. Enjoy live music, local food vendors, best dress competition, wiener dog races, a kids zone, a classic car show, and more. Log on discoverbrookfield.com. Prost.
Missed your favorite show live on air? It's easy to find what you enjoy wherever you listen to podcasts, including Spotify, Apple, and Google Podcasts. And we're always streaming on TuneIn and the Civic Media app.
Here's your updated forecast on the Shaw. cloudy skies expected this afternoon, with daytime highs approaching 68. Northeast winds 5 to 10 miles an hour. Lows dip down to about 53 tonight. Partly cloudy skies. Cloudy skies with a few peaks of sun tomorrow. Highs level off around 71. Dry with temperatures well above average Saturday and Sunday, and highs in the upper 70s. For Civic Media, I'm meteorologist Eric Height. Currently, it's 61 degrees.
Keeping Southeast Wisconsin informed, engaged, and entertained. This is The Shaw, 540 AM and 101.1 FM. W.
I could run into Sunday. Pressured stone, tried to move.
Welcome back to As Goes Wisconsin. Jane Matnier filling in for Kristen Bry. Greg Bach on the board, and we remain on
Baby Watch.
We're still on Baby Watch. Nothing to share right now. As soon as we get the okay, we will pass it along to you because we really don't know anything yet. It's frustrating. Greg and I talked about this off the air earlier this week because we're not related, but we feel like we kind of are.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
We feel like we're her family.
Yeah.
And I want to hover, but I know she doesn't want that. And I'm sure there's plenty of other people who are hovering.
Yeah. Or failing the resistance more. Like, I wanted to text her yesterday and today, but it's like, she's getting so much love right now, probably. I'm just going to be on the pile of messages. So I told her the day before she went in that I loved her. I love Mike. She said, I love you too. And I left it at that. I'm like, I'm going to let her communicate on her own time.
Yeah.
And so, yeah. So, Kristen Bry, we hope you're out there listening.
We're good.
We love you. And we love you.
And we do. We love you very much. All right. Laughing Tap.
What's that?
What is the Laughing Tap? Comedy Club in Milwaukee. Greg Bach is one of the co's of the Laughing Tap.
That's right.
And who's coming up this weekend?
This weekend, we have Caitlin Palufo, who is...
I love that name.
She is so funny. And I got to say, Caitlin, you're probably not listening right now, but I'll say this. Comedians and fans coming through the door of the Laughing Tap the past few weeks have seen your face and your name and said, oh my gosh, she's so funny. And we're really excited to have her. So she's going to be coming to the Laughing Tap for 4 shows, 2 on Friday, 2 on Saturday, 7:30 and 10 both nights. Tickets are available, laughingtap.com. They're $20 a piece.
Such a deal.
Such a deal. No drink minimums. Great space, small, intimate space. We're going to have a great time. The lineup is great. Reagan Niemela is featuring Rami Makloff, my friend who is a radio guy himself. He's going to be hosting, and we're just going to have a wonderful time. And Jane, I wanted to share with the people a little bit of Caitlin Palufo.
I've had a good year. I just moved in with my boyfriend, which is exciting. Thank you. It's great. I hope he's the one because I've truly given up. I have stopped trying completely. All right. I'm just in my 30s and I've learned something. Okay. Men do not care how much we weigh, ladies. They always want to see us naked. Yeah. It just varies on how much. It's either hell yeah or sure. Why the hell not? Either way, you're in. So I'm just going to deep fry everything, okay? I mean, that's not to say I haven't been put in the friend zone before. Of course I have. I look like I could build you a porch, all right? Thank you. I appreciate it. The truth is I've built 2 porches. So what are you going to do? All right. I mean, I'm useful. This is a useful body. All right. Yeah. I'm practical. That's my body type. Some women are thin. Some are curvy. I'm a sound effect. Okay. Thank you. I appreciate it. I never understood why men preferred tiny little women. I mean, yes, they look beautiful, but what are they going to do on moving day? Okay. What are they going to, I got the throw pillows. No. Gentlemen, you should want someone like me. Yeah. Someone who can strap a fridge to her back. All right. Yeah, those small girls, they get boyfriends. I earn boyfriends.
Who doesn't need
it's just
someone
like a different vibe
in their life who can build a porch?
Right?
We can all use someone who can build a porch.
She is delightful. And the few emails I've sent to her, she's come back with the nicest responses. And it's going to be a great time. So Caitlin Palufo, 4 shows, 2 Friday, 2 Saturday, 7:30 and 10 at the Laughing Tap in Walker's Point. Go to laughingtap.com for more information and tickets, as well as this Sunday, Jane.
What's on Sunday?
This Sunday, the 18th annual Milwaukee Comedy Festival begins at Lakefront Brewery. Tickets are available mkecomedyfest.com. Our first show at Lakefront is the kickoff with Kelly Ryan. She will be there headlining, and that is the start, the first day of 8 days. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, each have their own show. Thursday, 2 shows, 2 shows Friday, 3 shows Saturday, and 2 shows on Sunday. And we will have so much fun. We have Kelly Ryan, Kyle Kinane, Todd Berry, Dave Stone are our headliners, and we'll talk more about that next week as we're going through it. But we're going to have a fantastic time. Performers from all over the country submit to get in, and they are handpicked by myself and a small group of people who watch the videos, and we're going to have ourselves a blast with time. Tickets are also anywhere between $15 to $35, depending on where you're going to be going, because Kyle Kinane will be at the Pabst Theater, which is our first time working with them.
Oh, nice.
And it's just going to be fun. And we're going to have after parties, and there'll be food, and there'll be drinks.
Are you still looking for any volunteers, Greg?
We are still looking for volunteers. I think I might cap it off. We've gotten a lot of engagement, but if you are interested, mkecomedyfest.com/volunteers, or go to the website and click the volunteers tab on the front page. Find out more information. We have people coming through. We need help setting up chairs, welcoming people, driving, maybe picking up comedians, picking up food. But you get to see free shows. You get a t-shirt, you get a lanyard.
You get to meet people.
You get to meet people, network. And honestly, I'm not kidding you folks. That's how I met Kristen Bry. 2 years ago, this next month, Kristen came in as a volunteer at the Milwaukee Comedy Festival. And I'm going to say this, and I hope she's listening, but my life changed in so many ways because of it. And it's true. And I'm so appreciative to her and to the Comedy Fest. And yeah, come on down, enjoy yourselves.
Well, and congratulations to you guys, because putting together something like this is not a small undertaking.
No.
Not a week full of comedy all, in a row. That takes a lot of organization and a lot of hard work, and you've developed a reputation, which is wonderful, because now all these comics from all over the country want to come here.
And shout out to Caitlin McCarthy and Matt Kemple, my partners in crime on this. We work really hard, not just to do the Laughing Tap shows, not just to do our remote shows, but the comedy festival is very important. And we work very, very hard to make sure it is a quality event and everyone has a good time. Comics, spectators, volunteers, ourselves.
Yeah.
It's just very important to us to make sure it's great. And we hope you join us. So whether you come to the Caitlin Palufo weekend or you come to the comedy festival, I'd love to see you down there. Say hi to me. I'm the guy who looks like jam band Santa Claus. You can't miss me. But yeah, so come on down. Jane?
All right. That is it for us for today. Come back tomorrow at 10 a.m. My friend and longtime colleague Carol Kane, the one and only, will be joining us.
So excited.
Tomorrow. It's going to be a lot of fun. We have some fun things planned. So please join us. Thank you for calling. Thank you for texting. Thank you for watching on the stream. This is As Goes Wisconsin. You are listening to the Civic Media Radio Network.
Light,